don't think I'm supposed to do that. I'd like to personally welcome you back to the Cass Scenic Railway here in Cass, West Virginia. The station area is back there behind me, and just wanted to show you briefly some of the staged equipment over here on the line. Everything from a red C&O, which is Chesapeake and Ohio caboose, a yellow and another red one, a B&O, Baltimore and Ohio diesel locomotive, Pensy, hopper car, C&O gondola car, and so on and so forth. Nice collection of equipment here. Now there's a few different runs going on today. There's one going to Bald Knob Lookout and Whittaker Station. Now Matt did book us tickets for the 2 p.m. Whittaker Station run, but it's actually running earlier than that. So prior to this clip you're watching now, we did arrive here earlier and went into the station to get some questions answered about the specific run and location to catch them in action, because I wanted to do some rail fanning beyond just riding the train. So when we did arrive here, number 6 was stationed out here getting ready to depart, and I was able to get some nice close-up shots of it before it was leaving the station. So check those out right now.
Yeah, it's actually attack.
I absolutely love that number 6 locomotive, and that's going to be the one that's going to be operating our trains today. But right now, we're going to head to 2 locations to do some rail fanning. It's known as Back Mountain Road and Gum Road. There's 2 crossings there, and we're going to be able to see the trains in action, and of course, hear their iconic whistles. Before we take our afternoon ride today, Matt and myself are going to do a little bit of rail fanning. We actually came to what is known as the Gum Road crossing. So the tracks are right there. And the unique thing is that you can really see the elevation change from where it descends and ascends back there. And we're going to get it coming through here with the passenger cars first, with the locomotive pushing up this hill. And then we're going to go to another crossing after this, where it's going to be coming on the way back, pulling the cars first. And it's going to make for quite a location. The scenery here is absolutely gorgeous. It's quiet, it's serene, and we have a clear shot of the rails and no one else to hear around us except for a lone house down there. And they're fortunate they get to hear that whistle of the train coming through here all the time. But let me show you this grade. It's pretty significant. So that's looking down. It's going to be coming from that direction. And that's a pretty steep slope for a train. And it's going to come up here, go across the crossing here, and then continue climbing in elevation. So it is a pretty significant grade. And as I zoom in, you'll be able to see it goes straight and then winds around the corner up there. And this is the same tracks that 2 different excursions use for Bald Knob and Whittaker Station. They both cross through here, but this is the Gum Road crossing. So I'm going to get a good perspective. I have 2 cameras with me. I'm probably going to get a side profile, then an oncoming shot. And it should make for some pretty good footage, but this is going to be a really beautiful location. So we're going to wait for its arrival and you guys can sit back, relax, and enjoy the footage. Well, we heard the whistle, we could hear the chugging. It's on the approach. It almost sounds like thunder echoing through the valley. I really hope that came through on video. That was such an incredible shot. Not only the thunderous sound, hearing it approaching, you can still hear it echoing through the mountains. It sounds like a combination of like a jet engine and thunder. But we got it approaching the grade, climbing the hill. The amount of smoke that was putting out was mind-blowing. I've never seen a train put out so much thick black smoke. It was working hard. That combined with the whistle and the pan shot, and afterwards it went through, the leaves were falling down from the smoke hitting the trees. I almost got goosebumps and chills from that. That was so incredible. But we're gonna go to a second crossing, which would be the first one actually, on Back Mountain Road, where we're gonna be able to see the locomotive coming lead first, pulling backwards, going through the grade and the crossing there. So we'll see you over there. And just like that, we're at our second location, which would be the first crossing as the trains do depart the Cass station. So right there are the tracks. It does come from that direction when departing the station. I believe that train went to Whittaker station, Matt said. That's the one we're gonna be riding later on today at 2 o'clock. So it's gonna spend some time there, then come back. But there's also another train departing at noon, coming through here, going to Bald Knob Lookout. So I believe for that one, we may go back to Gum Road to get some different shots of that one too. But this is turning out to be such a really fantastic day so far. Crystal clear blue skies, a slight breeze in the air, high projected to be in the low 70s. It's already warming up. It was actually in the upper 30s this morning when we headed out, and you can tell it's warming up. I stripped off and I have my Parade of Steam shirt on that I picked up here in June when I was here for the Parade of Steam at Cass Scenic Railway. But the great thing about today's video is that not only do we get to see the trains in action as they roll by the crossings here as rail fans, but we're actually going to be riding aboard the train, going through these same crossings. So it's going to be two different perspectives and views, and we're going to be going through some really remote wilderness areas that you can't see any other way except by riding the Cass Scenic Railway. So here's a possible location I think I could film from. Got this little bridge crossing. As mentioned, it does go over the creek here with some crystal clear water right there. So the train would be approaching from down there when it does depart at 12. So with the way things worked out, the original train that we caught going across Gum Road still hasn't returned yet. It is a 2-hour round trip, so they still got about another 45 minutes until they return. But lucky for us, the 12 o'clock departure going to, I think it's Bald Knob Lookout, came through here. And the effort I went through, let's just say it was worth it, because I was actually standing in the creek on a rock. My foot did slip off. I got my foot wet. But between this shot that I got from the river and the shot with this looking up near the tracks, it was well worth the effort. Right now we're gonna be heading back to the station. We do have our 2 p.m. departure. Gonna get some additional footage there, and then we'll be boarding the train, riding the same route. A great suggestion for you guys, if you ever do come here for yourself, is check out the gift shop located inside the station. They have some incredible gifts, everything from some beautiful t-shirts to hats, stickers, magnets, even some little scale Shay Locomotives for your display if you want. So a lot of great items in there to help you remember your trip here. Right now, for your viewing enjoyment, I'm going to put up Jayhawk in the air, get some views of the surrounding area. More importantly, the arrival of one of 2, maybe both, steam locomotives as they're making their way back from their destinations. After that, there's nothing else left to do except take a ride on the train. Our time has officially come. It's time to board the train. We are in car C, which is the middle car. And the great thing is they're all open air cars. Well, a slight change of plans actually worked in our favor. Matt got us tickets for car C, which is the one next to us. But as you can see from the footage, it was pretty much a full house. They actually ran out of room. And I actually asked one of the employees, is like, hey, the car next to us is kind of empty. Do you mind if we switch? And he's like, oh, let's see, how many people are going to be on it. And they called all aboard. He's like, if you want to go over, go on over. And we had the car with just a few people here. So we're going to have some great standing room and some great views on both sides of the train. This is going to Whittaker Station. I believe we do depart there for a little bit. I'm not going to do a whole lot of commentary along the way. I mainly want to show you the views, the colors of the leaves, the crossings that we filmed earlier as we rail fanned, the sounds, the sights. I just want you to take it all in. I'll show you highlights along the way. And then once we do arrive at Whittaker Station, I will give you some more thoughts on what has transpired so far. But I'm excited. It's going to be loud. It's going to be beautiful. And it's going to be a one-of-a-kind trip through the wilderness mountains of West Virginia.
Climax number 9 was built in 1919 and was restored by the Greenbrier Valley Railroad in 2019. It is a 3-truck Climax, which is rare. Most have 2 trucks. Originally built in Corey, Pennsylvania by the Climax Locomotive Works. Shay 4 was built in 1922 by the Lima Locomotive Works until 1943 when the Maurer Lumber Company acquired and renumbered it to number 4. Weighing in at only 70 tons, it is our smallest and most reliable engine here at Cass. The Western Maryland number 6 was the last Shay ever built, and unlike all the other locomotives at Cass, it was built to haul coal instead of logs. The Big 6 hauled coal until 1952 and has been operating at Cass since 1982.
So up until this point, the locomotive was pushing us up the mountain. Now in the switchback, it's going to be pulling us in this direction for the next grade. Conductor flips the switch. He's going to get back on the end of the train, and the train will continue. That's the track down there where we just came up from. You see the elevation change from here. It's significant. Going through our second switchback, and as we veer over to the new section of track, you're going to see the steep descent that we just climbed. To put this into words is going to be pretty difficult. I don't know what to say except I've never experienced anything like this before. I'm not going to ramble much, but I do want to share a few thoughts, and they're kind of all over the place. But the ride up here was nothing short of incredible and deafening. I have been around a lot of trains, both diesel and steam. By far, my opinion, Shay Locomotives are the loudest locomotives I've ever been around. Climbing the mountain, and we're on top of a literal mountain, as you can see. Not the highest peak of it, but we are on a mountain. That locomotive was working so hard and so loud, you almost couldn't even hear yourself think, if that makes sense. It was just mind-blowing, the amount of power that locomotive puts out. Locomotive number 6 is actually my favorite of their fleet. I remember that one from the Parade of Steam. It's also their largest and most powerful of their fleet. And it's no surprise that they use that one for taking you up here to Whittaker Station. This place literally sits on top of a mountain. We climbed roughly 1,000 feet in elevation. No other steam locomotive out there can do what these Shays can do because they are literally all-wheel drive geared steam locomotives. So that is just remarkable. Not only the feat of engineering that they went into to construct those locomotives, I think they were constructed by Ephraim Shay, but also the work that went into creating the tracks up here. The numerous switchbacks and the steep grades going through rock cuts. I mean, it's a really remote area. When you say, or when I say we're going through the wilderness of West Virginia, it is remote wilderness of West Virginia. It's just an experience unlike I've ever had. And it's just, I'm not going to try to describe it anymore because I can't. Basically, the footage and what you've seen in this video speaks for itself. When you do arrive here, you do get roughly 30 minutes to explore. There is some old equipment over here, a concession stand to my right, bathrooms, picnic tables, and you can get up close and personal to the train. You can talk to the crew if you want to. But out of the two excursions, this and Bald Knob Lookout, I feel, just from what I've seen so far, this is probably the better of the two. And it's a long ride too. I mean, we started at right on the dot at 2 o'clock, and it is now 2:50, so roughly 45 minutes to get here. So you do get a nice long train ride. It's not a fast ride by any means, but it's a long train ride. And when you are going through those switchbacks and the locomotive is pulling you, you definitely get rained on with some cinders. So be mindful of that. I'm gonna take you around now and show you some of the area up here, show you some of the equipment, show you some of the amazing views behind me, the colors. It is just indescribable, literally indescribable. But so thankful to be here, and even more appreciative that Matt invited me along and bought these tickets for us to do this, because although I wanted to do it, I didn't think it'd be happening 4 months since my last visit. And boy, am I glad it happened. So they do have camp shanties from the old mill days. And here's a look at what's inside of them. Right on cue. Bunk beds, a little stove there, like a potbelly stove. Desk, more bunk beds, telephone there, probably like a community phone that connects to everything. But what a primitive little shack, but obviously they just had what they needed to get some rest, do some work, and do their next shift. But neat to see this up here when they do have it on display for an example as to the olden days. Matt and I ventured over here to the display area where they do have some old equipment. And the thing I just realized is that this equipment got brought up here the same way that we came here. Up the switchbacks, pulled by a Shay locomotive. So that'd be something to witness back in the day, to have these monstrous beasts of equipment climbing those grades. This is a crane. It's like an articulating crane. It does rotate around just like an excavator. It's got multiple cables on it, and probably would have been used for picking up timbers. I don't know what would have powered this. It could have been steam powered back in the day. I'm probably guessing that's what it was. And although it's far past its prime, it is still surviving. Oh, actually, no, I stand corrected. It does have a diesel engine in it. Right there you can see. Not sure if that's a Caterpillar. That's a huge diesel engine though. You see the fuel filters. Looks like a 6-cylinder.
J stands about 5'11", 6 feet tall. And it's...
That is pretty neat. I didn't realize that was going to be diesel powered. Probably back in the day would have been steam. There's even like a crank right there too. This is diesel powered. In its operational days. So it's basically a flat car with all this apparatus mounted and built on top of it. Even a boiler right there. You see the stack coming out. It's got a pulley system, a bunch of different gears. And I believe you could get up there and walk around too, get a closer look at it. But I've never in my life seen a piece of equipment like this that could operate on the rails. And there's Matt standing next to it for a sense of scale. So it's it's a monstrous piece of equipment here. And that thing stands probably close to 30 feet tall up there at the highest point. I just noticed laying on the ground outside of this car is a bunch of gigantic pulleys that cables would have ran through for different pieces of equipment or mechanisms here. But as we are standing up on it now, you can get a true sense of scale and see all that's involved. Big spools here, probably would have been wrapped with cable. I don't know if this was a mill or not. I'm going to try to do some digging and some information and be able to share that with you guys. But like I said, it's my very first time seeing something like this. And there's that high point up there too. But the amount of weight too, this is like it's all solid steel. You can see where this another, I guess a cable guide would go. It'd be able to slide back and forth as the cable would move. Maybe it would drag lumber up on here maybe?
That's what I was thinking. That it's a skidder, so maybe, and this is a big pulley.
Yeah, it's all
right
pulleys.
there. So I wonder if they use that to wrap around the big tree trunks
And pull them,
up through.
yeah.
And then, curious.
You can even see these gears here, the size of my hand compared to it. There's a big chain right there. Chain would have been around here. Spin the gears,
It's all geared, so these
wrap
are
up the
all-
pulleys. They're all working together. Just be intertwined with cable.
Yeah, and over on the other side, you got some levers with
Yeah,
valves.
so the
and-
chain went from up there to down here. It's perfectly in line. And then
Oh yeah.
that goes right up there. And that actually that height could be adjusted too. There's all those little notches, so they could raise and lower that as needed. This is actually a brake right here too. There's a brake pad in here.
Huh.
And I just stabbed myself, I think.
Got your tetanus shot?
Yeah, I'm good for 9 years. Here's the cable compared to my hand. You can see the size of it. These are like almost like a giant hoist. You see like in a coal mine to pull the coal cars up. That's what this is, a giant hoist system. And this cable is basically all different individual cables wrapped together. It's heavy duty steel braided cable. There's even pipes too, so water would have been flowing through for something.
Or steam.
Yeah, or steam.
That goes. Just
Yeah, I mean, this is a steam boiler right here,
Yeah.
so that would make sense. That's pretty big too.
Yeah.
And again, more cables here. Here's more brake shoes. They sit right in here, put pressure against it to stop this from spinning or to release it. Does have a bit of a canopy on it, but it has seen better days. Yeah, this is a fascinating piece of equipment. A literal steam boiler up here, just to operate all those pulleys. And that's what it looks like on the inside. Very similar to what would be on a steam locomotive, a boiler just laying down, this one's standing up. You can see some controls here too, where they would grab the handle and be able to
You got some,
adjust the notch right here. Yeah.
some foot pedals too.
Oh yeah. So this is like the operational area for the controls. Now this is a big piston right here, just like on a steam locomotive. So this would go back and forth. Same thing on a steam locomotive. That's basically like a train wheel. So yeah, very, very similar. Probably where they got the design from. So train wheel, the connecting rod or piston. This is quite fascinating. Those of you watching, if you have any information about this other than what we pointed out, and if you have any corrections on what I did share, by all means, share it down in the comment section. I, myself, and sure others watching would love to learn more about this. You can see there's more pedals here too, probably for the brakes or tension. There's more controls here. And they actually still move. I thought they'd be locked in place.
Yeah.
Huh. I'm literally like a kid at a playground. I'm just fascinated by this. Everything, get your hands on it, play around with it. I think those are like brake pedals right there. Something else. I don't know how common this piece of equipment is or something like this, but again, it's a first for me. But we're gonna be getting back on the train in just a few moments. So don't want to miss it. It's a long way back down to the station, but awesome stuff. I'm so glad I hit record when I did. That's the steam whistle to get back on the train. I wanted to hear it echo through the mountain, but there's another Shay blowing their whistle. This place is nothing short of incredible. Calling it a scenic railway is false advertising. It is the most incredible railway I've ever been on. I want to mention too that when we boarded the train down at Cass, temperatures were, pretty warm. Not hot, not sweating, but pretty warm. Comfortable, but warm. But when we started climbing those high, steep grades and arrived up here on top of the mountain, big temperature change, at least 5 degrees difference. To me, that's big because, we're not that far away from where we started, but it's a noticeable difference from where we came from. It's actually quite chilly through some of those more remote areas. But since we saw the train ride on the way up here, I'm going to enjoy the train ride down for myself, which means right now for you, I'm going to roll a photo montage. So sit back, relax, and enjoy it. So we have a train parking in the yard here. It's got some more traditional coach cars. This might be the Brier Express train. It's a little bit of a bonus action here. The amount of smoke that these Shays put out is unlike I've ever seen on a locomotive. That's number 5. Back at the Cass Scenic Depot now in the station area. After we got off the train, we did do a little bit of shopping when we went up to the big white building, which is the Cass company store. Also in there is the Shay restaurant, where we did get some lunch before our train ride. But the company store has tons of stuff. It was actually kind of a bad idea going in there. I ended up coming out with a big bag of stuff. I'm not going to show you everything that I got, but I do want to show you at least something that I found them surprised actually fits me. This is a Lima Locomotive and Machine Company number 5 hat, and on the side it has Cass Scenic Railway State Park. And it's a mesh hat, so it breathes, and it actually fits me. Most hats don't fit me. I usually have to buy a fitted hat, so surprisingly enough, I was able to find one. I also did get a tin Crossbuck Railroad sign, some stickers, some magnets, also a number 6 Shay Locomotive ornament. So I got a bunch of stuff to take home with me to help me remember this trip here. With that being said, this experience was nothing short of incredible. I don't really have many more words to put into it other than that. Hopefully this video gives you a sense as to what it's like not only being here in Cass, West Virginia, but to rail fan these Shay Locomotives and also to ride behind them. Number 6, far and wide, is my favorite locomotive that they have here. It's the biggest, the most powerful. It puts on one heck of a smoke show and a whistle show. The engineers really know how to put these locomotives to work, and just to hear the deafening sound as they're climbing those steep grades, knowing that we climbed a literal mountain over 1,000 feet in elevation, it's just hard to put into words. You really have to be here in person to experience it and to appreciate it. And you definitely do get rained on with cinders. By the time I checked my shirt, my arms were covered in cinders everywhere. Man also did some shopping for himself, and he did 2 separate videos, one of rail fanning, one of riding the train. So feel free to check out his channel, which will be mentioned down below in the description. Otherwise, I 100% will be back in 2025 for the Parade of Steam. And if you haven't seen that video, that will be linked down below as well. If you're able to come, I highly recommend you to do so. I'm going to see if some other friends of mine want to make the trip out here and enjoy and experience the Parade of Steam as well. But would love to hear your thoughts on what you thought of today's video. I know it was a lengthier one, but I did want to show you everything all in one as to how our day started, how it went towards the end, and just to share a little bit of everything in between, including the incredible train ride and the rail fanning moments down in that creek. It was worth me getting my feet wet because the shot I got, I'm thrilled with. So anyways, thank you so very much for hanging out, for coming along, and for watching this adventure and this journey. And there's another train coming. This adventure and this journey here at the Cass Scenic Railway in Cass, West Virginia. There's gonna be more videos coming out after this one, so if you want to see what they are, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and check back real soon. I think the Parade of Steam came early. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.